Welcome to Politics Done Right. I am your host, Egberto Willies. This is a progressive program that will take the mystery out of politics. This is the program that will encourage you to make sure government becomes we the people. Whether you are liberal, progressive, conservative, or otherwise, you get to air your point of view. We are an independent media outlet that, unlike mainstream media beholden to corporations, we only owe allegiance to you. Remember, you can also send me a tweet at EGBERTOWILLIES. That is at Egberto Willies. Let us engage. It is Politics Done Right. Well, folks, welcome to one more edition of Politics Done Right. I'm Egberto is your host. Thank you so kindly for being a part of the show. We are going to have a great show for you today. How is everybody doing? I trust everybody's doing just fine. Where are my peeps? Where are my peeps? Where are my peeps? Have a lot of people that are not here. Christmas time is coming. Holiday time, I guess. People are getting ready to head out of Dodge, head out of town, etc., 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 etc. Anyway, folks, we're going to have a great show. Anyway, so let's go ahead and get busy. The first thing I want to talk about is I don't like talking about Epstein, but my God, it seems like things are coming out that actually show that Donald Trump was a frequent flyer on the Epstein plane. And not only that, but that it seemed to have been populated with young girls. We don't know how young, we don't know, but there's a lot starting to come out on that I think that needs to get hammered out, that needs to come out. And guess what? I think it will. I think it will. Anyway, how are my peeps doing? Welcome aboard, Kat, TJ, Alec, Elaine Ambrose, Bobby K. Welcome aboard. On the regular chat, we've got AVQ, Senor Michael Rudnin, number one in the house, Brooklyn, New York. We also have Yvette Avery Herod, Atlanta, Georgia. Paul Fleming from Powder Springs, Georgia. We have in the house as well Eric Hayes from Kingwood, Atascocita. So anyway, let's go ahead and get started here. It seems like Michael Rudden has quite a few for us. Congress needs to come back in the session to deal with the DOJ obstruction of the Epstein files. We need the full release, uncensored, no redaction. Except with the girls' names, of course. I think that's the only thing they should redact. The names. But everything else should be laid out on the table. Absolutely everything. Lita Bearcat from Austin, Texas says, yo, Merry Christmas. And you know what? Tomorrow, I'm not sure if I'm going to be doing this program live or going to have a taped one. But even if I have a taped one, you know it's going to be something good. So please remember to still hang around. Jane B. in North Carolina is in the house with us. Is in the house. Jane B. Thank you for that book thing that we're going to be doing. I hope you got my email. I don't know that I got a response from you on that one yet, but I don't think I did. But you know, my email is crazy. If I showed you the list of that, oh my God, Egberto, ¿cómo puedes hacer esto? Anyway, let's go ahead and see what Brother Rudnin has for us. One woman requested her name redacted, but they published her name anyway. I think these guys are doing a whole lot of these things to be malicious. I honestly think they want to be malicious. Anyway, let's go ahead and start with Brother Rudnin's first video here. I'm going to go ahead and play it on. Let's see. Okay, where is the video?
Dangerously close call. Who knows if he would have just reacted right away and would have just pulled the trigger and I could have been hurt right now or maybe dead. So she was in her home in Chicago's Brighton Park neighborhood on Tuesday morning when she heard honking outside. Federal agents appeared to be detaining her neighbor, the man you see in the video. Okay. Raul rushed outside and began recording federal agents. That's when she says things quickly took a turn. As she walked closer to federal agents, she says one of them pointed their gun directly at her. He just opened the door and told me, "You better not do it." And he just pointed his firearm at me. and I went like this because I thought he was gonna actually throw something at me because I couldn't see what it was. It just looked like a metal thing until the guy in the back, he opened the door and pointed his gun at me too, and that's when I seen it was a firearm, and I went to him and I said, well, shoot me then. If you want to shoot me, just shoot me, go ahead.
Were you scared? I mean, what was going through your mind?
Honestly, I was more in shock that they did that to me.
The ordeal, she says, is deeply concerning. She feels it infringes on people's First Amendment right. Now looking back, I mean, would you have done anything different?
So no, I would have done anything different. I didn't do anything wrong.
Viviana Corral, a U.S. citizen, is still
That is what I kept saying. These guys are thugs. This is Donald Trump's private police force. They've invested more money in these guys than some countries have invested in their entire military. That's how, I mean, they were giving some of these guys several tens of thousands of dollars in bonuses to do this job. That's how bad it is. Bruce Pollard, how you doing from Kingwood, Texas? Welcome aboard. Lee the Bearcat from Austin, Texas. Welcome aboard as well. FMK Sheila McMullen, thank you for being here. Anyway, so yes, folks. So yeah, that is actually crazy, Mr. Rutten. Let's see what the other one that you have for us. Let's go ahead and play that. Para ver.
Born citizen is being held by ICE. ICE has lied about her birth certificate, and a judge instructed ICE that they cannot alter her status while the proceedings are going on. This is 22-year-old Dulce Consuelo Diaz Morales. On December 14th, 2025, she was driving in the Baltimore area. She was going home after picking up some Taco Bell. Her younger sister was also in the car with her. She was stopped by ICE and put into a van, even though her sister kept saying she's a U.S. citizen. Dulce's family had to get an immigration lawyer. Think about that. A U.S. born citizen had to get an immigration lawyer. This is the lawyer, Victoria Slatton. She's the one who made the video that went viral that even let us know that this was happening. The lawyer presented ICE with a birth certificate. The lawyer even went as far as getting immunization records and getting multiple affidavits saying that she was born in Maryland. They even called the hospital she was born and confirmed she was a patient during that general period. And after all that, ICE still said that the birth certificate is fake. The lawyer filed a habeas corpus petition. But before the judge could rule, they moved Dulce from Maryland to Louisiana. A judge this week finally ruled that she cannot be removed from the United States. And the judge also told the United States, listen to this, or alter her legal status during the pendency of this action. Why does a judge have to tell the US government not to alter someone's status? Because this government is planning to denaturalize people. What is happening to Dulce should be national news. It should be sounding the alarms for everyone. As of right now, Sunday, December 21st, 2025 at 1:52 p.m., she is still sitting in a detention center in Louisiana. There are still hearings for her habeas corpus petition, and from what I've heard, this may take as long as January before it's all resolved. Why is a U.S. citizen spending Christmas, New Year's away from her family, sitting in a detention center in Louisiana when she has done literally nothing wrong? My heart really goes out to Dulce and her family. I really do hope that she gets out soon and that she gets justice for this. Did you see that a U.S. born citizen is...
Now, didn't he just say that this girl was born in the United States? You know what that means? Anybody with non-white ethnic features that ICE comes along, that means whether you're a U.S. citizen or not, whether you're a born U.S. citizen or not, you are now vulnerable. This is what these thugs are doing. This is what our government elected by we the people have done. Now you see the kind of work that we have to do in 2026. I mean, there are no excuses. It's the vote in 2026 must be overwhelmingly in one direction and one direction only, and with the knowledge that anybody who decides to vote Republican in 2026 understand that they are codifying who they are. I hate to put it that bluntly. When you have one side of the government that is causing ill to the other side, that is messing with our democracy, with our citizenship, etc. At that point, this isn't about Democrat or Republican. This is about voting right or wrong. And any particular politician on the right side should renounce that party altogether. Even if they want to reside temporarily in the Democratic Party as an independent, that is what they should do. If they have any morality, that is what they would do. Standing up with a pedophile, standing up with a thug, a thief, a felon, anybody standing up with somebody like this is actually, that should be reflexive of who they are. This is shameful. Let's go for the other one from Brother Radnan and see what we got here. Radnan, you really have me working, guy. Let's see if I can get. Oops, I got that one started too early. Let's go ahead and do that
about
again.
the
Here we go.
$1,776 that
All right,
Trump.
here we
I
go.
just saw a bunch of soldiers in their barracks talking about the $1,776 that Trump promised them. And they were saying that it had showed up as a pending transaction and then for some reason disappeared, like it got yanked back. And I feel, first of all, it's a horrible, terrible thing to do to them. And secondly, I'm going to take a wild guess. It's because everyone found out that this was a grift. That money was already congressionally approved for their housing. It's a housing subsidy that we already give to the troops. This is literally like the same kind of shit as like Trump's cell phone company, where it just turns out to be a grift again. And I don't know how many times this man has to screw people over in public for everyone to get it. Like, he's going to do it to you too. It doesn't matter who you are. On a long enough timeline, he's screwed over his wives, he's screwed over his business partners. I mean, Epstein is no longer with us. That was his best friend. And I think a lot of us know why Epstein is no longer with us. And again, if someone will do something to someone else, they will do it to you too. Every time. Every time. I have never seen an exception. Men like Trump don't have a team. They have a self. And his self does not extend outside of the walls of his skin. Even if you are his child, he will sell you if it's for a high enough price. And it turns out he may have done that too. Poor Ivanka. I just saw a bunch of soldiers.
Yes, he has done that to poor Ivanka. And where is she again? Oh, that was a little calculation error there, folks. All right, Radnan, I'll go for the last one before we start the program. It turns out that I had buffer space for all of this. So let's get busy with the last one. Let me actually put that on the screen so I can get it started right away. All right, let's go.
The latest from the Trump administration is that they have now suspended 5 offshore wind farms due to national security concerns. So this was a major blow, sorry, no pun intended, to the wind energy industry that has been pushing to keep building in federal waters. According to the project's websites, these wind farms would have generated enough electricity to power 2.5 million homes. It would have also decreased reliance on oil, gas, and coal and started pushing the US towards renewable, sustainable energy. But unfortunately, that's not the priority of the Trump administration. So Trump has actually tried to stop these wind projects before through an executive order, which was then blocked by a judge who called it unlawful. Now, Trump has issued a pause because apparently the windmills cause clutter, which threatens national security. The thing is, Trump has hated windmills for a while. Remember, he called them a disgrace on his trip to Scotland, and he opposes them being anywhere near a Trump golf course. Meanwhile, he makes things easier for the coal industry through deregulation. It's also not just the environment that gets hurt by this too, by the way, but stopping these projects means that thousands of jobs are lost. And some experts are saying that this deliberately sabotages an industry that would actually strengthen US energy security. The latest.
Now, let me tell you that I covered this morning on my morning show, and I pointed out certain things. And let me first tell you on what grounds he's suspending this. First of all, let's be clear here. There are 2 reasons he's doing this, right? Take a look at the companies that are most involved in building windmills, right? What did Donald Trump do earlier this week? He created an envoy to Greenland because he wants to convince Greenland that they should consider independence and join in the United States of America, which, by the way, Greenland has the Greenland. Let me tell you what I spoke about this morning because I think it's important. A lot of people like to show a similarity between Greenland and Denmark versus the United States and Puerto Rico. The reality is Greenland and Denmark has a close relationship in this regard. Every Greenland citizen is constitutionally a Danish citizen. Yes, the people living in Greenland can decide that they eventually want that they can part from Denmark, from the kingdom if they want to. And by the way, I don't go into all this kingdom crap and colonialism, etc. But I'm just talking about what the law of the land is right now. These people in Greenland can choose to vote and say we don't want to be a part of Denmark anymore. The difference between them and Puerto Rico is that the inhabitants of Puerto Rico were not declared citizens constitutionally. They are citizens by statute. What that means is Congress made them citizens with a law. Congress can make that a state of the United States if they vote that way, and in that regards, then they will be constitutional citizens because citizens of a state are United States citizens. So there's a bit of difference there. But the equivalency here is, suppose Amsterdam send a ship over and say, Puerto Rico, we like you, and America has been treating you badly as they threw paper towels at you during the hurricane. Would you like to be? We would go crazy. We would go berserk if they were to do that, and that's the reason why you see also Denmark reacting the way that they are. But what is the reason? Again, let's look at the windmills. Again, you may say, where is the correlation, Egberto? Take a look at all the windmill companies that are providing the blades and the etc. They are heavily Danish because the best windmills are built by the company that have been building them for centuries, Denmark, right? And it'll hurt them, and they're trying to do a little wrenching in there because what they want is they want to ease the way again to do what? Steal the raw materials that are found in Greenland, not only oil, but rare earths, etc. No different than what they want to do in Venezuela. They want to control the natural resources of Venezuela, so they don't want it under the control of we, the people, just like here in America. A few landowners own land in which they also have mineral rights, but the vast majority of the land around here that's being mined is owned by the United States government, and the people who exploit it and get the profit from it aren't we the people. It is those or they, the corporation. Venezuela, if successful, would have shown, or no, Venezuela could not be allowed to be successful because the people owning the minerals just won't do. Corporations want all the spoils. The small amount of people that own these corporations want the spoil. Everything that Trump is doing is against what he claims. He's being an imperialist colonist, right? Well, imperialist is probably what we should say. In that all the machinations, and they're actually murdering people to do that. Donald Trump has so far murdered over 100 people to create a false drug interdiction in order to destabilize Venezuela to take its natural resources. Same thing it's doing, destabilizing the windmill markets with the expectation that these guys are so concerned about their market that they'll say, okay, Trump, if you want to create some sort of an agreement with Greenland, just let us continue building windmills in the United States, which is a huge market because Denmark is a tiny country. Don't think that there aren't really some similarities here and things that these guys are doing, people. Please don't think this is just happenstance. It is not just happenstance, right? It is not just happenstance. So anyway, let's go. Eric says China owns windmills. Listen, not on a per capita basis, brother. Okay, and you don't have the Chinese building windmills here in the United States. You have the Danish building windmills in the United States. And as you like to copy me, y eso es punto y final, right? All right. Okay. So, folks, that is what we're talking about. Thank you for that one on the windmills. Now, let me tell you, we look at that just from the wanting to get the resources of another country. But when you take a look at the other things that Donald Trump is doing, decreasing the use of windmills, right? Not allowing this to expand, uh, giving all kind of leases or expanding the drilling, drill baby drill, and reducing, making solar panels less expensive, or rather, solar panels more expensive by the tariffs it puts on, making so not concentrating on renewable energy. He's setting us back as a country. Now we have Ford talking about reducing its footprint of making EVs. So here we have a huge tariff on Chinese EVs, electric vehicles. But instead of us investing in increasing our EV market, what is Ford doing again? Reducing the amount of EVs or stuff that it's doing with EVs. Completely the opposite of what the tariff is supposed to solve. So Mr. Tariff put tariffs on to make our industry better. And our industry say, we're not making enough money on this EV, so we just kill it. We have countries like China that says, we're going to invest. We are going to invest. Even if we don't make a lot of money up front, we're going to invest in the future. Paul Fleming says a judge ordered the release of a disabled U.S. Army veteran detained by ICE in Tacoma Monday. He had been in detention for around 4 months. That is a shame. That is a shame. And it is sad. Egberto, I still can't ban spammers via the Meta Business Suite. Need you to figure that out. I don't know what's happening there. I just have to tell you straight up. Divya Bissau, I witnessed this news live and this recorded video. Well, I mean, if you don't tell me about recorded video, you know I'm not going to show the recorded video. You're probably just a spammer. All right, let's see what else we got here. Egberto, please rule out. Dulce Consuelo Diaz Morales, U.S. citizen, was detained by ICE, and instead of releasing her after papers were presented, she was transferred across state lines. Understand that if this can be allowed to happen, none of us are safe. I think I mentioned that earlier out. Paul Fleming says, in this video, we reveal how Ivanka Trump and Jared Kushner made up to $640 million during Trump's first term while claiming to work for free. I don't know how long is that video. If it's a thread, let's see if we can go ahead and do it. Today I'm playing all your stuff, guys. Let's see how long that is. Okay.
Free. What would that say about integrity? This is the story of Jared Kushner and Ivanka
Trump, a case study in blurred ethical lines, conflicts. Imagine earning millions while claiming to work for free. What would that say about integrity? This is the story of Jared Kushner and Ivanka Trump, a case study in blurred ethical lines, conflicts of interest, and the exploitation of public office for personal gain. Their journey from unpaid public servants to amassing up to $640 million raises pressing questions about governance, trust, and power. During their White House tenure, Jared Kushner and Ivanka Trump reported earning between $172 million and $640 million in outside income, according to financial disclosures analyzed by Crew. They declined government salaries, a move touted as a public sacrifice, but their vast outside earnings, far exceeding what they could have made in government salaries, paint a very different picture. A significant portion of Ivanka Trump's income came from her stake in the Trump Hotel in Washington, D.C., just a short walk from the White House. The hotel, a hub of influence peddling during the administration, brought in around $4 million annually between 2017 and 2019. But in 2020, her financial disclosures revealed a sudden drop in the hotel's value, from $5 million to $25 million to just $100,000 to $250,000, with no explanation for the discrepancy. In 2018, Ivanka Trump announced the closure of her namesake brand, signaling an apparent end to her business ventures. However, financial records show she earned up to $1 million from the brand in 2019, raising questions about transparency and the true extent of her separation from the company. Her dealings with foreign governments added another layer of controversy. In China, her business received preliminary approval for 3 trademarks on the same day she dined with Chinese President Xi Jinping.
Okay, I had to stop that one because I am concerned about the music in the background that will probably cause a little bit of issues. So I had to go ahead and stop that. But I think you get the picture. Bobby K said Trump must feel that to be a proper dictator, he's got to be able to detain Americans based on race, not to be outdone by Hitler with the Jewish community. Despicable behavior. I'd say so. I'll say so. All right, let's go ahead. There's a particular video that I do want you to see, and this has to do with a Gen Zer that I've learned to respect a whole lot. This guy really kicks butt, and then I have to go into a couple of other subjects before we close this baby out. Let's go to this Gen Z political. I want you to listen to this because I think it is let's go ahead and check it out. Oops. Wait a minute. Let's go ahead and do it. Now it's a time. Okay, let's put you over my head, and I think we can start it now. Where are? Come on now. Okay,
Group.
let's do it
Conservatives have been getting rich and gaining power off of this. Entire life, Republicans have been targeting minority group after minority group. Conservatives have been getting rich and gaining power off of this, targeting immigrants, targeting LGBTQ people, women. It's been Somalis, Haitians. But the second that certain MAGA commentators are now the subject of this exact type of bigotry, they have a stunning amount of moral clarity about it. Vivek Ramaswamy only had moral clarity when anti-Indian American hatred was being spread. Republican Representative Randy Fine has a lot of moral clarity about bigotry when it's against him, but the way that he talks about Zohran Mamdani, the way he talks about Ilhan Omar is incredibly contradictory. You can't just stop bigotry from entering your movement when it's hitting you. You have to stop it at the door. Do you know who Paul Ingrassia is?
Sure.
Do you know who Paul Ingrassia is?
Yeah, we've debated it.
Do you know what? Okay, so do you know what Paul Ingrassia said?
Yeah, we've debated
that he
it.
has a Nazi streak. Oh, you've debated it, but has Trump fired him, or is he still a part of the administration?
I don't know where he is right now.
He's a part of the administration, and you know that. You're lying right now. You know that he is a part of the administration. He is still there, and he said he, quote, has a Nazi streak. So you can sit there and play coy, but you are not having the clarity that you are talking about right now. Do you condemn Paul Ingrassia?
Hey everybody, Adam Mockler here. I just got back from a very heated debate on CNN, and this might be the best one yet. You're going to want to watch this until the end, and if you want to help boost the message, make sure that you drop a like below, and make sure you're subscribed to the Adam Mockler feed. Thank you all, and check this out.
The FBI back in July released this memo that I was reading where they made a few claims that were just blown out by the Trump administration. First of all, they said that or blown out by the DOJ. They said that releasing any more files would require releasing child pornography. Then they said there was no evidence linking anyone else to the scheme other than Jeffrey Epstein and Ghislaine Maxwell. After Congress forced the release of tens of thousands of files, we now know the FBI was lying. Pam Bondi also lied on Fox News. She said she had the files on her desk. She was going to release them. So the entire priority of this administration has been off. The DOJ had a few goals. They said they have to release all of the files with reasonable redactions. They did neither of those things. They didn't release all of the files. They're drip feeding them, and the redactions weren't reasonable. It was over-redacted in some parts, and as we just saw, under-redacted in other parts, and victims were exposed.
And they had plenty of time to do this right.
Yeah.
And I think that's been one of the concerns and the complaints of the victims is that they never heard from DOJ about how to do this in a way that centered their needs for justice in all of this, which is purportedly what DOJ says that they were trying to protect. But it seems like Trump is also concerned about protecting, I don't know, other people who were palling around with Jeffrey Epstein.
I don't like the pictures of Bill Clinton being shown. I don't like the pictures of other people being shown. I think it's a terrible thing. I think Bill Clinton's a big boy. He can handle it. But you probably have pictures being exposed of other people that innocently met Jeffrey Epstein years ago, many years ago.
So, yes, folks, now, what can I say? The kid, Gen Z, 23-year-old, I think he's one of the best, how should I put this? I don't want to call him an attack dog because he's much more than an attack dog. What he does is he knows his stuff. He knows his stuff, and he knows how to challenge these grown-ups that come onto these panels and talk a lot of BS. This is a guy that, whenever you're sitting down listening to the panels and saying, why don't you ask that? Or you look at a panelist and while you're watching the panel and say, you need to ask that or you need to say that. That is who Broccoli is. That is who this guy is. He goes ahead and he really does a good job. Anyway, the real subject today that I want to cover is, and let me get it up onto the screen, because more than ever, it's like, why do we really need independent media? I'm going to tell you why, folks. I'm going to tell you why. By now, everyone should have heard what happened with 60 Minutes. And if you don't know, 60 Minutes canceled or suspended or postponed airing Inside CCOT, a well-produced documentary of the evil that Donald Trump is doing as he takes a whole lot of people that shouldn't have gone to El Salvador, and torture them in that prison. Well, 60 Minutes did a great report on it. And Barry Weiss, the new head of CBS or CBS News. Let me tell you, first of all, CBS now is going to hell. They are no longer going. CBS was a trusted news with 60 Minutes, etc. You cannot now believe that 60 Minutes is going to be that hard depth reporting that it has always known. The fact that they can pull a program says, and what I mean is the following. A lot of people will say, yeah, but the 60 Minute folks fight back, etc. But what's going to happen in effect is the people who make 60 Minutes, the reporters, producers, all of them are going to, the way they're going to now do the programming is with the expectation that Barry Weiss is going to put a certain, may not get it aired. And as such, they will, many of them, I guarantee you, are going to prematurely censor what they put out there. I almost guarantee you they are going to self-censor. But anyway, here is the interesting thing. This was put out today by Robert Reich. We can survive without 60 Minutes, but democracy won't survive without independent media we can trust. At some point, as Trump continues to repress criticisms of him and his regime, American democracy will be compromised beyond repair. And as we can see, what's happening at all the networks, what's happening at cable and broadcast alike, the only defense we have is us, independent media, those supporting independent media, and the platforms that we are able to get to. And let me qualify a few other things that are coming to pass. I tell you what, let's talk about what Robert Reich says first, and then I'll put some corollaries onto that. Once you begin surrendering to Trump, he always wants more. You can't appease a tyrant. David Ellison, CBS, after gutting DEI policies, they're appointing right-wing hack Kenneth R. Weinstein to a new ombudsman role and making anti-woke opinion journalist Barry Weiss editor-in-chief of CBS News, despite her lack of experience in broadcasting or newsroom. She had zero experience. Talking about DEI, yesterday removed a segment from 60 Minutes featuring stories of Venezuelan men deported by the Trump administration to what the program called a brutal prison in El Salvador. Barry Weiss had demanded changes to the segment. The Ellisons, Phils et Para, have been seeking Trump's support for their hostile bid to acquire Warner Brothers Discovery, but Trump has been unhappy with recent episodes of 60 Minutes, even under its new management, hence the segment removal. Sharon Alfonsi, a long-standing 60-Minute correspondent who reported the segment that was removed, accused CBS News of pulling it for political reasons. Our story was screened 5 times and cleared by both CBS attorneys and standards and practices, she wrote in a note to the CBS News team. It's factually correct, in my view. Pulling it now after every rigorous internal check has been met is not an editorial decision, it's a political one. And they list her full note in the tweet that she sent out. Sharon Alfonsi wins this week's Joseph N. Welch Award for Courage in Face of Tyranny, named for the chief counsel of the U.S. Army who confronted Senator Joe McCarthy with the iconic question, "Have you no sense of decency, sir?" at long last, which led to McCarthy's demise. Well, Alfonsi, hopefully her prose will lead to Barry White's demise before she even gets settled. I'm old enough to remember when CBS News would never have surrendered to a demagogic president. But that was when CBS News, the home of Edward Murrow, who also revealed to America the danger of Joe McCarthy and Walter Cronkite, was independent of the rest of CBS. But that's not how it works anymore. And when the top management of CBS felt they had independent responsibilities to the American people. America can survive without a 60 Minutes it can trust. It can, just as we can survive without trustworthy editorial pages of the Washington Post. But at some point, as Trump continues to repress criticism of him and his regime, American democracy is compromised beyond repair. We are coming to the end of only the first year of Trump 2. He and the lapdogs and sycophants around him have done more damage to this nation in less than a year than I thought possible. Well, I figured that this would happen, guys. I must say that. They have not been them alone in their destruction. They've had enablers in the form of billionaires such as Larry and David Ellison. Hey, guys, I got to make a quick trip to the door, and I will be back in 2 seconds. But in the interim, let me go ahead and give you this. I'll be right back. Congressman, you're on fire as usual. That was great. Thank you very much for that.
Thank you. Well, thank you for your boldness and your having the courage to do what you do. That, let me share this with you, dear brother. There are many intellectuals in this country. There were other intellectuals when Dr. King was on the scene. But the thing that separated Dr. King from the others was courage. Intelligence without courage can be intelligence wasted. You got to have the courage to speak truth about power. Everybody says, oh, speak truth to power. No, it's about power. You got to have the courage to look power in the eye and say, look, you're a problem.
Congressman, you're on fire as usual. That was great. Thank you very much for that.
Thank you. Well, thank you.
All right, folks. I had to go to get, a gift that is coming in for the other half that I couldn't let it stand at the door, and I had to sign for it. Anyway, folks, so continuing with the story about independent media. I want to point this out, okay? And hear me out in this one. What Robert Reich says, we can't live without independent media, is true. We also talk about, okay, we have independent media, but here's the thing about independent media. And please listen to this well. Independent media is not enough, just as stated. Because how are you listening to me right now? You are listening to me on YouTube at this point in time. You're listening to me on Twitch. You're listening to me on Substack. You're listening to me on Twitter. You're listening to me on LinkedIn and other places that we're streaming concurrently. But each of these platforms run the risk of being owned and taken over by a billionaire. What that really means is the following, like what's happening to many of us right now. Many of us get what's known as throttled. Throttle means the following. They don't necessarily stop people from seeing you very well, right? but they make sure that the amount of people that your stuff gets into their feeds don't see it. So let's give an example. When we were at Coffee Party was a one of the organizations that I actually was on the board for. We had a page, a Coffee Party page, that had over 1 million subscribers. And I could put if I had a video or I have a live on, I could put that on and I would have thousands of people seeing it and watching it all at the same time. But as I became more controversial and used the term that capitalism and these terms and pretty much use it with negative connotations, we could actually see the decline. We still had a growing base. Coffee Party USA page on Facebook, growing base, but a substantial decline in it. Now you may ask, why? Well, while people are happy to talk about AI now, AI is not a new thing. We've had checks on what goes out there automatically all of the times. YouTube does it, they all do it. They all have these things called algorithms, right? If you go to YouTube and look at a video right now, you will notice that that video is being translated as we speak. If you go ahead and look on Facebook, you will see that as we are speaking, as I'm speaking right now, you will see the subtitles that are done in real time. What do you think that means? That means that you have the capability to be watched. Tell you where I'm going in a minute. Even here on Substack, there is some sort of a what shows up in your feed going on as well. The more controversial you are, there are two kinds of things, right? There's serious controversial, and then there are the people that are just explosive. If you are just somebody doing things that are explosive that people, just say, that is that particular character that is explosive. They don't quite mess with you as much. But if they think, if the algorithm think that what you're doing is substantive, and they have rules that they use for it, and we've done some testing on seeing how you get out. I'll put it bluntly, my stupidest videos get. I have one that I did with a MAGA fight. Over 200,000 views in something like 2 days. And then I have a substantive speech talk with Dr. Richard Wolff on capitalism and the decline and why, etc. And we get 2,000. Right? And again, same audience. So what I'm trying to say is there are other things that are occurring. So how do we get around that sort of reality? And let me explain what I've come up with. You remember in the old days, what happened is you had the muckrakers directly putting out their papers to the people they want to put it out to. And that is what we are going to have to resort to as well. That is what we are going to resort to as well. Michael, I've done Lent. I've done others. Let me tell you what they tell me as well. They say that there was a time Facebook or YouTube was trying to push different lengths, and they'll send us an email say make your videos longer. We're trying to experiment with those. It has a lot to do with the algorithm. But here's the interesting thing that I try to tell people. I reach people. First of all, if people are liking what you do with the amount of folks that are willing to bite the bullet and actually, I'm not talking about paid subscription, just subscribe, meaning it's free. They just subscribe. and you get a chance to see your subscription grow. And my subscription is growing. The amount of people that when they find us actually subscribe. But the interesting thing is this. When I ask some of these subscribers, hey, did you get a notification when we went live? Oh, no, I didn't get a notification. And you know what? Even with Substack, a notification is supposed to come here. A notification is supposed to come in many other places. Same thing with YouTube. We have 40 something thousand people on YouTube, 20 something thousand people on Substack. And I'm talking about people that are signing up and active. 10,000 or so I mean, we have over 100,000 something folks around the place, right? But that is not what enough, because again, when you're controlled by the algorithm, it creates a problem. So here is the solution. We have to get directly into your inbox. The one thing that don't get throttled is the direct message. In other words, if I want to reach you, I reach you through email. You know, if all the over 500,000 people that does do my newsletter every month, it is through email. Believe it or not, the old style actually works, and that is going ahead and going back to direct communication where people have a one-on-one relationship with you, with the author. I mean, now if you go ahead and have people that are just doing funny things that make you laugh, etc., that doesn't make you think, it's easy. That is an easy job. You can get people clicking on you all of the time. But when you're coming out with things that are substantive, that's not what these algorithms want at all. They just want people to give them what we call bread and circus, entertain you and feed you. So I'm saying this to suggest to everyone, whether you become a paid subscriber or not, become a subscriber, so that when we send out our emails 2 or 3 times, we send it out a day. We send out one in the mornings for the radio show at KPFT, and then we normally send out 1 or 2 blogs, right? And have them automatic. If you don't want to read them all of the time, have them automatically go into a catch-all that you can later on check out if you want to. But the best thing to do is let people that you trust, let influencers and hosts that you trust, let them have your email. I don't sell anybody's emails. I don't take anybody's emails and give it to anybody else. It is solely for what we do here. So go ahead and become subscribers, and those of you who can, become paid subscribers to keep us solvent. But do give us your email and subscribe with your email so that you would have that relationship with us. You don't have to read everything. You may not read but a few of these things a week, but you have that connectivity for when it is actually needed. That is the only way independent media is going to survive. And by the way, I'm saying this not just for myself, right? I hear from a lot of other Substackers, YouTubers, Instagrammers, TikTokers, and it's the same problem those of us that do this kind of work have. You have those that are explosive, and a lot of them that are explosive also have the wherewithal and the income to advertise in such a manner that they can get views. We can't advertise. We advertise through you. That's what we do here. So again, please remember, go ahead and become subscribers at politicsandright.com/newsletter, politicsandright.com/newsletter. Whether you can subscribe for free, but what we ask for those of you who have the wherewithal, please become paid subscribers. That is what allows us to do what we're doing. Anyhow, I have some other subjects in the chat, or rather in the blog for this, but I'm not gonna go over it. I'm gonna just open up to see if anybody wants to call in now. The number is 281-823-7747. I'll repeat that number. 281-823-7747. Anybody wants to tell me anything, talk to me, whatever you want to do, I'd love to hear from you. The morning show, we get a whole lot of calls. The afternoon show, it's a whole lot of chat. So give me a call. 281-823-7747. Who will be bold enough to give me a call? You know I'm very easy to talk to. Listen to the morning shows and you see how many callers enjoy the call in. Anyway, una vez más lo voy a repetir. One more time, I'm going to call it out. 281-823-7747. 281-823-7747. And Le Deneuve, thank you. He says, call into Egberto at 281-823-7747. Let me throw it in the other chat as well. Thank you for that, Le Deneuve. There it is. Give me a call. 281-823-7747. If I don't get a call in a minute or so, I'm going to finish a little early because I have to go prepare recordings for tomorrow on the 7 o'clock or the 6 o'clock show Central Time. Let's go ahead and give me a call. 281-823-7747. Una vez más lo voy a repetir. 281-823-7747. Y si quieres llamar y hablar español también, recuerda que yo hablo español fluentemente. Así que me quieres llamar y preguntar sobre la migra o preguntar por lo que quieres o lo que quieras, estoy aquí para responder, para ayudar, para localizar o lo que sea. 281-823-7747. 281-823-7747. Going once, going twice. All right. We are at 3:56 right now, so I will go ahead and start or shut down. I want to thank all of you that came today, and today was sort of a slow day. I guess people are getting ready to head out of town. CSEC, that 4.3% growth is a fraud, of course. I shouldn't say it's a fraud, absolutely. I should say, based on what we are seeing, it is unlikely that 4.3% growth is real. But then we have to remember that earlier this year we had shrinkage. Okay, so let's just look at it in the right context. But anybody who believes in 4.3% growth, I think we have to get a hell of a lot more information before I believe any numbers at all coming out of the Trump administration, because the Trump administration is too filled with lies for us to believe any kind of numbers coming out of there. All right. Look, folks, I'm going to close this baby down. Love you all. You can go ahead and register for the show, or rather, I should say, subscribe to the program, hopefully as paid subscribers, by going to politicsdoneright.com/newsletter, or just doing it directly if you're in the chat already. Please go ahead and do that. Love you all. My name is Egberto Willies. This is Politics Done Right. And you guys know how I end this baby. I am what? Out.
Welcome to Politics Done Right. I am your host, Egberto Willies. This is a progressive program that will take the mystery out of politics. This is the program that will encourage you to make sure government becomes we the people. Whether you are liberal, progressive, conservative, or otherwise, you get to air your point of view. We are an independent media outlet that, unlike mainstream media beholden to corporations, we only owe allegiance to you. Remember, you can also send me a tweet at EGBERTOWILLIES. That is at Egberto Willies. Let us engage. It is Politics Done Right. Welcome.